Right now at 5, voters in Oklahoma and Missouri head to the polls yesterday to vote on all sorts of things, and now it's time to share the results of those elections.
We've had a rocky start to our Wednesday morning, just as we expected. Still, severe thunderstorm watches, severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to take a look at all of them coming up.
And among the things that were voted on in the elections, a marijuana tax. We'll have the results of what the people of Missouri said about that tax.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's been a rocky night. Doug Heddy's been here for, what was it, Doug, 17 hours?
I got about 18.
18. Doug Heddy still here. We're continuing to track severe thunderstorms across the area. So let's go straight to our radar, and you can see where those storms are. We've watched these things go along a line from southeast Kansas back into northeastern Oklahoma, and now starting to progressively roll out of the area. But as you can see, still a number of severe thunderstorm warnings out there. We're talking Dade, Berry, Lawrence, Newton, eastern Jasper, just in eastern Barton, but as you can see, the worst of that is out of here. Newton County, we do not have a warning for this guy down in McDonald County, but nevertheless, a strong storm and still a few thunderstorms back across southern Delaware County. Now, this orange is a severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 10 a.m., but as you can see, it's already pulled out. Vernon County, Bourbon, Cherokee, and Crawford counties in southeast Kansas have been removed, and there is a new tornado watch for Benton County in northwest Arkansas, and this is going to run until, well, I want to thank it for putting it in GMT time on this particular graphic. Let me check on that for you here. This will give me the real time. Until noon. There we go. Until noon today. So there's that tornado watch down there for those storms. We still have the severe thunderstorm warnings. The good news is we don't have anything that's showing any signs of being tornadic. We just have these strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through the area, and they should be out of here within the next hour or so. This is a look at storm reports. All of these blue dots are severe hail reports stretching through southeast Kansas and into southwest Missouri, including we had hail reports around Oronogo, hail around Pittsburgh, hail just north of Columbus, plenty of those reports. And then the orange and the green here, these are wind reports, and this green one is a high wind report, just under an 80-mile-an-hour gust just to the west of Fort Scott. So certainly an intense morning across the area. Now here you can see by 6 a.m., we start to see this line roll on out of here, but take a look at these temperatures back behind the cold front. This is why they call it a cold front, guys. These temperatures dropping. In fact, it has dropped considerably out there. Still seeing some light rain, even a couple of flashes of lightning in Joplin, but this activity kicking out of here. Down to 45 now, feels like 39. North-northwest breeze now at 14, gusting to 23. Across the region, you can very clearly see where that cold front is and where it is going. We've got 65 Neosho, 70 Anderson, 72 in Monette. You guys about to get in on it. Back behind there, 39 Yates Center, 41 Parsons in Pittsburgh. And that's putting us now upwards of 30 degrees cooler than where we were 24 hours ago. Quick look at our morning. We'll have those mostly cloudy skies. It's going to be cold. About 41 by 11 this morning. Looking at highs pushing lower to mid-50s. We'll start to see the skies clear out, calmer winds, and at least a little more sunshine out there. We'll continue to track the severe storms that are ongoing right now and keep you updated through the morning until they are out of here. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Missouri residents turned out to vote on a number of issues on Tuesday, including proposals to tax marijuana sales, elect school board members, and adopt school bonds in a number of communities, and we'll get to all of those. We're going to begin with the Carthage school bond proposal. This was to provide $26 million for a performing arts center and baseball field. While the bond received a majority of the vote, the measure fell short of the state-mandated 57.1% majority needed to pass. So the bond fails to pass for a second time in recent elections. It was a similar situation in Grove, Oklahoma, as voters were asked to approve an $87.2 million school bond proposal. While the bond approval received a majority of votes, it failed to pass the margin needed to pass. The bond would have provided funding for various school construction and improvement projects. Now, voters in the Neosho School District considered a $14 million proposal for new and existing school properties. This proposal passes by a wide margin. The vote was 1508 to 811. The East Newton R6 district considered a $5 million proposal for various improvements to existing facilities. This one fails. The vote was yes, 488 to no, 624. And a $6 million proposal for the Diamond School District would fund various projects, including construction of a new early childhood center. Voters accepted that plan. The vote was 344 to 163. Now, lots of southwest Missouri counties and towns considered 3% tax proposals on the sale of marijuana. In Jasper County, it passed by a nearly 2-to-1 margin. In fact, this issue passed by a wide margin for every district with this vote on the ballot. We'll have more local election results in a few moments, and you can find all the results through the KOAM News app and our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's look at some of your local election results. And coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Fort Scott heads to Pittsburgh to take on the Purple Dragons at JC Field. We'll have the results of that game in sports. Plus, a man gets petty with the city he lives in and plants a tree in a pothole that hasn't been fixed since it became an issue a year ago. We'll take you there. And how lithium in drinking water may be connected to autism. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. Here's more election results from Missouri and Oklahoma.
Well, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons and Fort Scott Tigers meet for an SEK rivalry game on the Diamond. Both teams are off to good starts this season. Pittsburgh is 2-0 to begin the year, while Fort Scott has won back-to-back games to get to a 2-2 in 4 games. The two rivals split a pair of games in the regular season last year. Hayden Harris, good start on the mound for the Tigers, strike out there in the first, then finds the outside corner for another. That ends the inning. Top of the second, bases loaded for Cody Wilson. He fights one off to right. Tough play out there. Ball gets down. One man scores, then another. At the point, it's 3-0 Fort Scott. Tigers, from there, did a good job shutting Pittsburgh down. Harris gets the win on the mound. 4 innings, 6 strikeouts. Dub Chipman comes in and throws 3 shutout innings in relief. Fort Scott gets a road win over Pittsburgh, 9-3. In Webb City, Cardinals hosting McDonald County Mustangs, looking for their first 3-game winning streak of the season. But it's the Mustangs taking down the Cardinals 6-3. McDonald County started fast, scoring 5 of their 6 runs in the first inning. Missouri Southern Lions are tied for first place in the MIAA coming into the day. The Lions are 16-4 in conference play, 28-7 overall, and currently ranked 4th in the country. Yesterday afternoon, Southern faced Missouri Western in a non-conference matchup in Kansas City. Lions rolling this one 23-10. Another huge day for Tragan Parker. He goes 4 for 5 with a double, 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs. Listen, in his last 5 games alone, Parker has 8 homers and he's driven in 23 runs. Pitt State Gorillas also on the field last night, facing Drury in non-conference play. The Gorillas hold on to win a good one, 6-5. Cade Clemens goes 1 for 2 with a homer. Austin Warkins is 2 for 4 with a double and a pair of RBIs. Former Missouri Southern All-American KOAM Martin commits to finish his college career at Boise State University. Martin has spent the last 2 years with the Kansas Jayhawks. He redshirted his first year in Lawrence, then got a medical redshirt this season after dealing with an injury for most of the year. Before his time in Lawrence, though, Martin was a 3-time All-American for Missouri Southern. He finished his career in Joplin with more than 2,000 career points and 800-plus rebounds. His senior year in 2019, he posted 25 points and 9.1 rebounds per game. KOAM isn't the only Martin headed to Boise State, by the way. His younger brother, Alex, who just finished his senior season at Webb City, will join the Broncos next season.
So I started talking with the coaches. Mentioned how I wasn't going anywhere. My brother wasn't going. So we both set up an official visit. Growing up, we always talked about wishing we were a couple years closer in age so we could play together just for 1 year. But the way it worked out with my COVID year and then a medical redshirt year, it couldn't have been planned any better. So the first thing we thought of when that happened is he's committed to Fort Scott, but we're wherever I go, we're going to make sure we do this thing together for at least a year. That's my childhood dream. So I knew when I went to the portal that it was that or nothing for me.
Still to come, Finland officially joins NATO and the country's flag joins others flying at the headquarters in Brussels. And we're going to update you on the strong to severe thunderstorms in the area when the KOAM Morning News returns. All right, most of the severe threat is moving out of the area. We still have, in this orangish color, a severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 10 a.m., but it's already getting dropped from some counties. Vernon, Bourbon, Crawford, and Cherokee counties in southeast Kansas, it has been dropped from. We have this tornado watch that includes Benton County that runs until noon today. Let's run by our warnings real quick. So we have this warning for southern Lawrence County, northern Berry County. This runs until 5:30 this morning. And this is for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that is moving off to the northeast at 65. These storms this morning have really been hauling. Then we have this severe thunderstorm warning. And this one is for northern Lawrence, eastern Jasper, and southern Dade counties until 5:30 this morning. This is for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-an-hour gusts. And it is moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. We're not quite done with the tour yet. We head up a little further to the north, and we have one more severe thunderstorm warning. And this is going to be for southeastern Cedar, Polk County, northeastern Dade, as well as Hickory County. This is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. This is radar indicated. So we are continuing to track these severe thunderstorms as they roll through the area this morning, and they should all be out of here within the next hour or so. All right, let's take a look at storm reports so far. You can see the blue, those are hail reports across the area, and a number of them across the region. Most of these upwards of quarter size, even $half size hail. And then we have some wind reports here around Chanute. Now that green one is a strong wind or a high wind report. That was 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And this one just to the west of Fort Scott, that was a wind gust of nearly 80 miles an hour. So these storms, as mentioned, are going to get on out of here by about 6, 7 o'clock. We're already starting to calm down in Joplin. Our severe threat done in Joplin. 44 feels like 36. And we're now on that backside of that cold front. Still breezy. Winds gusting out of the northwest to 29, but those will begin to calm down. You can see where that cold front is and where it's going. We've still got warm temperatures down to the southeast. Much colder air back behind this thing. And that's putting those back behind it upwards of 30 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. All right, let's take a look as we go through the morning. Mostly cloudy skies. They'll begin clearing. The winds will calm down, make it up to the lower 40s by late morning. Highs today, lower to maybe mid-50s out there. We'll have clear skies, calmer winds, and as we head into this evening, a much better evening, but much colder, down to 30 36 for our overnight low with some increasing clouds. We'll start to trend a little bit warmer as we head toward the weekend. Still looking to push the 70s by Easter. Looking at some thunderstorm chances Sunday. We're keeping an eye on those for you. Shouldn't ruin your Easter plans, but do be prepared. And then we'll hang out in the lower to mid 70s as we kick off the next work week. Well, a Hopewell, Virginia man was fed up with a pothole that was never fixed, so he took things into his own hands. Wayne Koval has the story.
It was about a foot deep. It was maybe about that deep. I mean, if you hit it at a good speed, it would mess your car up.
At the intersection of South 19th Avenue and Richmond Street in Hopewell.
How bad was the pothole?
I mean, it was big enough to plant a tree in it.
And that's exactly what happened.
When I was leaving to go back to work, I hit the hole.
After more than a year of complaining about the pothole to City Hall, Josh Anderson was fed up.
Backed up, filled the back of the truck with dirt, dumped it in there, stuck the plant in there.
But before driving away,
took a couple pictures and posted it on Hopewell's issues page.
Within minutes,
I thought it was cute, funny.
The like button and views were adding up.
What did you think when you saw the tree?
I thought it was funny.
It was funny. It was, I don't know, a bunch of people making light of it. It was fun.
TikTok views soon topped 2 million, but the first tree didn't last long, removed by city workers.
I come back home from work and the tree was gone. So I pulled up another tree and I planted another one, put some lights on it.
And I thought it was Christmas in April. With the Christmas lights on there, it was really funny.
After the second tree went up,
as many times as I went and asked to get it done and nothing's been done about it, and as soon as I make a TikTok and put it on their webpage with a tree in it, within 24 hours they had a crew out here fixing it.
24 hours after the tiny trees were planted.
I think it's a shame it took them a day to fix something that had been there for a long time.
Many now seeing the success of planting a tree in a pothole.
I think we might see more trees planted around Hopewell out in the streets.
Well, Josh Anderson says he complained to the city for about a year. The city of Hopewell did not respond to a request for comment. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Have you ever done anything petty to get the attention of someone? Yes or no? You can vote through our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so in the KOAM News Now app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll continue to track these severe thunderstorms, and we will be back with Health Watch right after this.
About 1 in 36 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder each year, and that's according to the Centers for Disease Control. And still, scientists do not know what causes the development or disorder. A new study suggests there could be a link between autism risk and levels of lithium in drinking water. Lithium is a rare earth metal found naturally in some food and groundwater. The study, published Monday in the journal JAMA Pediatrics, found a small association between the metal and autism diagnoses in Denmark. The study found a moderately higher risk of autism spectrum disorder in children born to pregnant people exposed to tap water with higher levels of lithium. Researchers say the level of lithium in drinking water there is similar to that in American water systems. Experts caution this association does not show a direct link between autism and lithium. They say more research is needed. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we, of course, are continuing to track some strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. Now, just outside of our area, a new tornado warning. Just looking at those storms, this is just outside of our viewing area, just outside of Benton County. This is, let's take a look here, just find out. It's for northwestern Madison County and Carroll County, and this is for radar indicated rotation, $half size hail. So this is what Doug had been talking about this morning, that these storms ahead of the cold front heading into Arkansas could be the ones that become tornadic. Good news is we're still just dealing with severe thunderstorms, and they're on their way out. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, have you recently bought gas in Carl Junction? Then you may want to keep an eye on your bank account.
We've got ourselves severe thunderstorms still rolling through the eastern part of our viewing area. These are on their way out. We'll take a closer look at these storms here coming up.
And 7th and 8th graders from McDonald County get a realistic glimpse at being an adult, all thanks to a life simulator experience.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So Doug Hetty here all night long, tracking severe thunderstorms across the area, and we're still dealing with some severe thunderstorms out there right now. We have that severe thunderstorm watch in the orange that runs until 10 a.m. But as this system moves on out of here, we will see that watch continue to drop off. So let's take a look at the warnings that we still have in our area. So southern Lawrence and northern Berry County. Okay, hey, good news. That warning just expired. In fact, it's 5:30. So as a matter of fact, all of the warnings in our area should expire, and they just did. So that is good news, but these storms still strong. You can see those brighter pinkish purple colors. There's still some hail out there with these storms, so don't let your guard down just yet. But as you can see, our warnings have now gone away across the area, which is good news for us as this cold front slides on through and takes these thunderstorms right along with them. Here's a look at the storm reports that we got from this line as it rolled through the area. All these blues are hail reports, a number of those. These were big hail producers. And then we've got some wind reports. Now, there's a green one here by Fort Scott. That was an 80-mile-an-hour wind gust, and it's kind of hidden here under Chanute, but there was another one of near 70 miles an hour. So this gets out of here, leaves us clear, chilly, calmer winds. It's going to be much cooler. In fact, it already is. Taking a look at current conditions, 44 in Joplin, feels like 36. We had a heat index yesterday. Now we have a wind chill this morning. Northwest breeze 21, gusting to 29, but again, those winds will begin to calm down as this front gets further out of here. Here's where that front is, 63 Grove, Anderson, 64 Cassville, and here's where it's been, 41 Iola, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh. So definitely colder air to the tune of 35 degrees colder than where we were this time yesterday. So we'll have the mostly cloudy skies. They'll begin to clear a little later, lower 40s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, we shift to mostly clear skies, looking at highs not as warm as yesterday. We're talking lower to mid 50s across the area instead of lower to mid 80s. And then it's going to be a cold night. We'll have increasing clouds back down to 36 for our overnight low. We stay cool tomorrow, 58. A little warmer on Friday, 64. Not looking too bad for the Easter weekend into the 70s. These thunderstorm chances look to hold off until later in the day, but we want to keep an eye on them. Don't cancel your plans, just have alternate ones. And we get back into the 70s, near 80, with some additional thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week. We'll continue to watch those stronger storms out to the east in case any additional warnings are issued, but our severe threat really winding down this morning. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A man accused of assaulting a Joplin police officer takes a plea deal. Michael Yarga of Joplin pled guilty to charges of third-degree assault and resisting arrest. Authorities say Yarga assaulted an officer during a chase in March of last year, and another officer shot Yarga. Yarga gets a suspended sentence and will be on probation for 5 years. A man originally accused of domestic assault enters a plea on murder charges. Casey Malone pled guilty to second-degree murder charge. He was originally charged with domestic assault, but the victim died a few days after the incident. 2021, 63-year-old Ann McCrary was found with head and face injuries and a broken arm. She died a few days later. Malone will be sentenced next week. Well, if you recently got gas at a Carl Junction, Missouri convenience store, your card might have been hacked. On March 22nd, a local resident fueled her car at a convenience store in CJ using a credit card. Later in the day, she was alerted by her bank that her card had been used to purchase fuel in another state. It was found that several other bank cards had also been compromised on the same day. The police department is advising people to take care when using a card at a fuel pump. They say monitor your accounts, and if you notice a suspicious transaction, notify your financial institution or card issuer immediately. They say then contact your local law enforcement agency. Authorities say the pumps at the area locations have been checked and secured, and employees have been instructed in what to look for when inspecting equipment. Well, strong winds around the 4 states increase the risk of wildfires and also impact people driving high-profile vehicles. Greg Branscombe, a local truck driver on his way from Wichita to Joplin, says strong winds make truck drivers slow down. and pay special attention. Branscombe describes driving with an empty load as being on a sailboat and being kicked around a lot more. He also asked drivers of small vehicles to avoid driving near trucks since wind could kick a truck around.
Don't drive beside us for too long. If you're in a hurry, get out of the way, just keep on going. You know, it's bad enough driving beside a truck, but on a windy day, don't use us as a shield from the wind.
Branscombe says driving against the wind can also dramatically cut gas mileage. Area dancers put on a show at Pitt State. The university held a practice for its third annual dance symposium and showcase. And it wasn't about being the most skilled, it was about showing how dance can bring a community together. And that fits into this year's theme, community, collaboration, and courage. There will be another practice on Thursday with the showcase held on the 12th.
So this is actually something we started in class. We are the Theories and Methods of Teaching Dance class at Pitt State, and we've been working on this since the beginning of the semester. We knew we were going to do this. We've been working hard getting flyers out to businesses, making online ads and different things like that. So it's been nice to use class time to work on something like this, so we feel really prepared.
Crawford County has a new group of young leaders. More than 450 sixth grade students in the county graduated from the Pittsburgh Area Chamber Foundation's Youth Leadership Program. That program teaches kids to lead through role model interaction and by developing skills such as teamwork, communication, and conflict resolution.
And so what this program does is take sixth graders and it teaches them about how to make an impact positively on the people around them. Because leadership's not about title, position, or authority. Leadership is an activity we all can do to make a difference in the lives of the people around us.
Leadership program is in its 20th year. It has been implemented in every junior high school in Crawford County. McDonald County Schools host a life simulation event for 7th and 8th graders. Officials say the event is designed to provide students with a realistic glimpse of adulthood and help them understand the importance of making responsible decisions. Students experience what it's like to live on a limited budget, make tough decisions, and face the consequences of their actions.
Life experience. I hope that they can see what their future would hold given the two different scenarios and know that if they make the better choices at the time, they may end up with a better adult life.
At the end of the event, students compared their two lives and saw the differences their choices can make for them. This morning, we're discussing doing creative things to get attention.
The intersection of South 19th Avenue and Richmond Street in Hopewell, Virginia, left residents frustrated. One man was so frustrated that nothing was being done despite a year of complaints to the city. So you know what he did? He planted a tree in the pothole.
Wow. But before driving away after planting the said tree, he took a couple of photos and shared them on social media. Within minutes, the likes on the photos were adding up. TikTok views soon topped 2 million, but the first tree didn't last long after city workers removed it.
A second one with Christmas lights on it took its place, and 24 hours after these tiny little trees were planted, the city finally fixed that pothole. So that brings us to our question for you. Have you ever done anything petty, or as Tanya said, creative, to get someone's attention? So far, 100% of you say, yeah, you have. I gotta admit, I think I've probably been creative to get attention every so often, especially when I was a child. Children, I think, do it best.
Yes.
Well, make sure you take time to vote through our website.
Maybe spouses, too.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But make sure you take time to vote. Real quick check. We still have some strong thunderstorms in parts of Lawrence and Berry counties. No severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. And we're also watching some stronger storms now entering southern McDonald County and Benton County. But the good news is we have no active warnings in our immediate area. Still the severe thunderstorm watch through 10 a.m., but I expect the majority of that to be canceled here before too much longer.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a town in Pennsylvania goes from a normal town status to overrun by art made from peeps.
Plus, after doing some DNA testing, a mom and her baby are reunited. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, another train derailment, this time near The Hague in the Netherlands. On early Tuesday morning, a passenger train collided with a construction crane and then plowed into a field, resulting in death of one person and dozens injured. The four-carriage passenger train was carrying about 50 people. Police are investigating the cause of the crash and if there was any crime committed. The CEO of the railway infrastructure company said, quote, "We have no idea how the crane got on the track, which was still open for traffic." An avalanche in India's northeastern state of Sikkim on Tuesday killed at least 7 people and injured 13 others. The avalanche took place near Natula Mountain Pass and struck at the 13th mile on Jawaharlal Nehru Road, connecting the state capital Gangtok and Natula. A team of foreign veterinarians visit a Pakistani zoo to check in on a sickly elephant. The elephant, Noor Jahan, is 17 years old. That's pretty young for elephant years. She was brought to the Karachi Zoo with 3 others more than a dozen years ago. Videos of her struggling to stand have caused alarm now, and vets from the Four Paws organization are there to take a look at her. Doctors say the elephant is suffering from arthritis as well as a list of other health issues. They're afraid if she lays down, she'll never get up again. But they hope they will be able to help her. Hope so too. Finland's flag now flies outside NATO headquarters, signifying its membership to the military alliance. A flag-raising ceremony was held in Brussels on Tuesday as Finland becomes NATO's 31st member. NATO foreign ministers watched as Finland's white and blue flag joined a circle of 30 other flags outside of NATO's Belgium headquarters. Earlier, the Finnish foreign minister handed the accession document to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who declared Finland a member. The historic move is a major blow to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, marking a major shift in the security landscape in the northeastern Europe. Well, a zoo in England welcomes rare Sumatran tiger cubs. The cubs, both females, were born in January at Northwest England's Chester Zoo, venturing out into their enclosure with their mother for the first time. Their names are Aleph and Rhea. These type of tigers are native to Indonesia. The big cat species is critically endangered, with only about 350 remaining in the wild. Well, thanks to DNA testing, a Syrian mother and baby have been reunited nearly 2 months after the devastating earthquake in Turkey. Baby Gizem was separated from her mother when the massive quake hit in the Turkish province of Hatay, where they were living. The baby was rescued from the rubble 5 days later and placed in a temporary shelter in Turkey's capital, Ankara. After DNA testing, Turkey's Ministry of Family and Social Services was able to determine baby Gizem's mother was Yasemin, who was receiving treatment at a hospital 300 miles away in Adana. Heartwarming video captured the moment the mother and daughter were finally back together. Sweet. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
All right, we've been tracking severe weather all night long. We're not quite done with it yet, but we're getting there. Still have that severe thunderstorm watch for the counties in orange through 10 a.m. and a tornado watch that includes Benton County that runs until noon today. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Benton County. Let's get this thing lined up here. Here we go. It's until 6:30. We are talking about hail and wind gusts with this when we're looking at hail up to the size of about an inch, so about quarter size hail, and wind gusts to 60 as this moves off to the northeast at about 60, 65. So if it continues, it could potentially clip southeastern Berry County. We'll keep an eye on that. A couple of tornado warnings out there. This is what Doug was talking about. These storms ahead of the front are the ones that are going to go supercellular, and they certainly are, but thankfully they are not in our area and they are moving away from us. And we still have Strong storm there, as you can see now, into southeastern Lawrence County, northeastern Berry County. No warnings with that, but still a strong storm nonetheless out there. So let's take a look at our storm reports that we've seen. We've been talking about these this morning, and you can see all those blue dots are hail reports, and a number of them from southeast Kansas back through parts of southwest Missouri. And then this green dot, this is a high wind report, a gust just west of Fort Scott of nearly 80 miles an hour this morning, and several wind reports right around Chanute. So there's another green dot hidden back there. It was a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. So plenty of severe weather this morning. Thankfully, it is on its way out, and as it exits, it's leaving very cold temperatures behind. Right now in Joplin, the roads are still on the wet side. We're cloudy, 44, feeling like 36. Northwest breeze at 21, gusting to 29. Now, the good news is these winds will begin to calm down later. You can see now the cold front continuing to shift off to the southeast. So still 73 in Bentonville, 63 in Cassville, 62 in Anderson. So that's why we're still watching some of those storms down there. We're still at 60 in Miami. Miami lucking out here. Same with Grove. Everybody else, though, dropped back through the 40s and even the upper 30s, putting us upwards of 30 to 35 degrees colder now than where we were yesterday. As we go through our morning, we'll have the mostly cloudy skies. The winds will calm down as the front gets out of here. Lower 40s by late morning. Skies will begin to clear this afternoon, but we are 30 some odd degrees cooler than we were yesterday, with highs only pushing the lower to mid 50s across the area. And tonight, a cold night for us for sure. Temperatures drop back down to 36, and we'll start to see some increasing cloud cover. We've actually gone through all of this a lot quicker than I thought, so we're going to take another look at some of those storms out there. But a quick look at the 7-day. Cool tomorrow still, 58. 64 for Friday, mostly cloudy. A little better Saturday, 70 degrees. 71 on Sunday. We're watching those thunderstorm chances. Now, right now, they look to hold off until the evening. However, don't cancel your Easter plans. Just keep an eye to the sky. Keep the Skywatch weather app handy. So we kick off the next work week. We get into the 70s. We remain there for the majority of the week. And we're watching additional thunderstorm chances as we head into Thursday and Friday of next week as well. So we'll keep an eye on those for you. All right, we'll go back to Max 2, take a look at the radar again. We'll just kind of recap what we've got. So we still have, for the counties in orange, let's show you a wider view here. Counties in orange, that is a severe thunderstorm watch, still in effect until 10 a.m., but again, we'll probably see more of it get canceled as the morning progresses, and a tornado watch that does include Benton County until noon today. And we're watching, look at that, this nasty looking storm over here. I've got to slide this over so it focuses on this. With this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 a.m. for Benton County as it rolls off to the northeast at 60 miles an hour. And then as Doug mentioned, these storms out here, those are the ones that are getting tornadic, but thankfully we were clear of that. Our severe threat will diminish quickly this morning. We'll continue to monitor it as these storms roll out and bring you any updates as they come in. We'll be back with more right after this.
What town in Pennsylvania is being overtaken by Peeps? You know what I'm talking about, those marshmallowy Easter time treats that everyone loves, and you eat too much of them, you get sick to the stomach. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, as Ross Dimity explains, the takeover is an annual art competition.
I think you saw it impact full of color and amazement of, like, somebody made that out of Peeps?
For the fourth year in a row, Easter time at Peddler's Village means a total Peep takeover.
Everything is made with Peeps.
Inside the Visitor and Event Center, guests will find more than 130 marshmallow masterpieces currently on display.
Every time it amazes me.
Joseph Albert came up with the idea for the annual Peeps in the Village event. He can't pinpoint where the public passion comes from, but he says it's undeniable.
Everybody likes Peeps. I think it's the color. It's the squishiness, it has texture, and it molds really well into fun things, which you can see here.
Here's how the competition works. Anyone can submit their work of art in one of three categories: diorama, sculpture, or wall art. The only rule is every submission must be made with and inspired by Peeps.
It doesn't have to be every inch with a Peep, but like your dioramas, it's going to have other fun things, and it's going to have a few Peeps in it, but it has to be Peep inspired, and also it's always good to have a good Peep pun.
From the hot hair balloon to Home Peepo to Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, it's clear there is no shortage of Peep creativity. And the passion for Peeps extends beyond the competition and the displays. Peddler's Village is also offering different food options, from desserts to pancakes, even iced coffee. And you guessed it, the theme is all Peeps all the time.
Of course, Peeps are manufactured in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so we consider them very local.
Director of Marketing Christine Trianto says the Peeps in the Village event attracts locals and tourists alike. So if you want to see these Peeps in person, she recommends you get to Peddler's Village as soon as possible.
There are people who traveled far and wide to come and see this Peeps display, and nothing makes us happier than to be able to offer something that is truly enjoyed by members of the public.
These are so cool. You can check out the displays in person through April 23rd. Now, Peddler's Village is open every day aside from Easter Sunday. The winners of the 2023 competition will be announced this Friday, and we will be right back.
All right, we still have that severe thunderstorm watch for parts of southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma through 10 a.m. But again, we're expecting a lot of that to start to get dropped off, and that tornado watch for Benton County till noon. Out to our east, again, as we mentioned overnight, as Doug mentioned, we do have those tornadic storms, but they are off to our east. However, this one just south of Branson now, tornado warning till 6:30. The only thing really in our immediate area is this severe thunderstorm warning that is for Benton County, and that still runs until 6:30, moving northeast at 70 with some wind gusts to 60 and some quarter-size hail, and still a strong storm there in Berry County. All right, let's take a look at what we've got for the rest of today. We're going to be chillier, but we're going to be calmer. Winds will start to die down a bit, mostly cloudy, lower 40s by late morning. So we head into the afternoon. Low to mid 50s for highs, mostly clear skies, and as we head into tonight, this is going to be a very cold night for us, down to 36 degrees. We'll see increasing clouds as we head into the overnight hours as well. There is a warm up on the way. We'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast a little later, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, Missouri voters head to the polls to decide a number of state issues, including school bonds, tax increases, and mayoral races. We've got your complete ballot box breakdown.
And we still are dealing with some strong storms out there, even one severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a closer look at these storms and what happens after this gets out of here coming up.
And recreational marijuana returns to the ballot in Missouri, this time in the form of a higher sales tax.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock, a rocky morning for us. Doug Heddy here through about 5 o'clock this morning. I joined him about just before 1 this morning, tracking an intense line of showers and thunderstorms that rolled through the area. Now, the good news is it's on its way out. The only warning we have in our immediate area is a severe thunderstorm warning for Benton County, and that again runs through 6:30. This storm moving northeast at about 60 miles an hour, and we're looking at winds gusting to 60 and quarter-size hail. Now, there's also that tornado watch for Benton County through noon, and we still have the severe thunderstorm watch for parts of southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma until 10 a.m., but again, we're expecting the majority of that to be dropped out, and we've got a little bit of a redeveloping, slightly strong storm here over Berry County. But the good news is the main severe threat for us is pretty well done. Now you can see out by Branson that just came across. They're sounding the sirens in Branson for this tornado warning. Excuse me, and another one just to the south of that in northwestern Arkansas. And those are the storms Doug's been talking about through the morning that formed ahead of the cold front, and those are the ones that are going to potentially produce some tornadoes. Here at the local level, storm reports so far this morning, a lot of hail reports. These blue dots are hail reports across the region, and we have wind reports, orange and green colored. The green are strong wind gusts. We're talking west of Fort Scott, a gust of around 80 miles an hour, and it's kind of hidden. We had 3 different wind reports near Chanute, but one of those gusts pushed upwards of 70 miles an hour. So we go through the day. These storms get out of here in the next half hour, 45 minutes, and they're going to leave us all pretty chilly. In Joplin already, we're already clear of the severe weather, and we are now colder. 41 feels like 32 degrees. Can you believe We were pushing the mid-70s 24 hours ago. Kind of crazy. Northwest breeze at 17. Across the region, here's the outline of that cold front where it is. Cassville, Bentonville, even Anderson and Monette, still a little bit warmer. The rest of us, lower 40s, upper 30s. So we're upwards of 30 to 35 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. As we get our day started, the winds will calm down. We'll have mostly cloudy skies into the lower 40s by late morning. Afternoon highs today, nowhere near that 80-degree mark. We're talking low to mid-50s. Mostly clear skies, though, so plentiful sunshine out there. And as we head into this evening, it's a cold night. 36 for our overnight low with increasing clouds. I just wanted to take a moment to show you it does warm up. We head into the weekend. We get back into the 70s, maybe some thunderstorms on Easter. Don't cancel your plans. Just keep an eye to the sky. And we hold on to the 70s to kick off the next work week. Tanya?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, Missouri residents turn out to vote on a number of issues on Tuesday, including proposals to tax marijuana sales, elect school board members, and adopt school bonds in a number of communities. We're going to get to all of those. Now, we begin with the Carthage school bond proposal. It was to provide $26 million for a performing arts center and a baseball field. And while the bond did receive a majority of the vote, the measure fell short of the state-mandated 57.1% majority needed to pass. So the bond fails to pass for a second time in recent elections. It was a similar situation in Grove, Oklahoma, as voters were asked to approve an $87.2 million school bond proposal. While bond approval received a majority of votes, it failed to pass the margin needed to pass. The bond would have provided funding for various school construction and improvement projects. However, voters in the Neosho School District considered a $14 million proposal for new and existing school properties, and this proposal passes by a wide margin. The vote was 1508 to 811. The East Newton R6 District considered a $5 million proposal for various improvements to existing facilities. This one fails. The vote was yes, 488 to no, 624. And a $6 million proposal for the Diamond School District would fund various projects, including construction of a new early childhood center. Voters accepted this plan. The vote was 344 to 163. Well, lots of southwest Missouri counties and towns considered 3% tax proposals on the sale of marijuana. In Jasper County, it passed by a nearly 2-to-1 margin. In fact, the issue passed by a wide margin for every district with this vote on the ballot. We'll have more election results in a few minutes, and you can find all these results through our KOAM News app on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, doctors in Kansas could face lawsuits and criminal charges if accused of not providing enough care to infants born during abortion procedures. That's according to a bill that won final passage in the state's Republican-controlled legislature. The Kansas House voted 86 to 36 to approve a proposed Born Alive Infants Protection law, similar to a proposed law that Montana voters rejected in November. The Senate approved the measure last week, and it now goes next to Governor Laura Kelly, who did veto such a bill in 2019. Another bill getting final legislative approval in Kansas would bar transgender people from using public bathrooms of their preferred gender. It could also bar people from changing their names or gender on their driver's license. The measure deals with bathrooms, locker rooms, and other facilities. It also defines sex as either male or female at birth. Governor Kelly is expected to veto the bill, but the voting margin suggests backers could override the veto. LGBTQ plus rights activists rallied in D.C. on Friday for Transgender Day of Visibility. Some say this bill would legally erase transgender people. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, criminal charges for a former president.
Donald Trump becomes the first president to be criminally indicted. I'm Christian Benavides in West Palm Beach with what Trump had to say in response to the charges.
Plus, scientists shed some bright light on the treatment of the symptoms of dementia. Chris returns with another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but first, here's a look at more election results. Topping Nation Watch this morning, the Internal Revenue Service extended the tax filing deadlines to Americans affected by storms and tornadoes that hit several states last week. The regular tax filing deadline for most Americans this year is April 18th. But storm victims in parts of Mississippi and Arkansas will now have until July 31st to file individual and business tax returns. And residents and businesses in parts of California, Alabama, and Georgia will have until October 16th to file their taxes. The IRS is expecting as many as 168 million individual tax returns this year. Well, the results are in for what might be the two most consequential elections of the year. Now, these elections are speaking to the national issues of abortion and policing. In Wisconsin, liberals are taking control of the state Supreme Court after the victory of Justice-elect Janet Protasewski. Her win over conservative Daniel Kelly, a former state Supreme Court justice, means liberals will control the state Supreme Court when it considers challenges to Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban. And Brandon Johnson is set to become Chicago's mayor after a race that focused on policing. Incumbent Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot did not secure enough support in the first round of voting to be a candidate in the runoff. Johnson is pledging to keep funding the Chicago police despite his non-binding resolution in 2020 to defund the department. Former President Donald Trump is back in Florida with a criminal case number now attached to his name. On Tuesday, Trump became the first American president ever to face criminal charges. Christian Benavides has the latest.
There is no case. There's no case.
A defiant former President Trump returned to Florida to address supporters following his arrest and arraignment in New York.
This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election, and it should be dropped immediately.
Inside a Manhattan courtroom Tuesday, Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, a case brought on by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg.
The criminal is the district attorney. He should be prosecuted, or at a minimum, he should resign.
Bragg's 16-page indictment alleges Trump concealed hush money payments to 3 individuals, threatening to reveal negative information about him during the 2016 election. They include adult film star Stormy Daniels, former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, and a Trump Tower doorman.
These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
So far, former President Trump has not been barred from publicly discussing the case, but was warned by the judge not to make statements that could incite violence.
Late last night, the 45th president went after that judge and his family.
I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and family.
Trump has denied any wrongdoing in the case.
He's frustrated, he's upset, but I'll tell you what, he's motivated.
His lawyers say they'll file a motion to dismiss the charges. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
The next hearing in the case is scheduled for December 4th. The former president will be expected to appear. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we want to give you folks northeast Oklahoma some good news. The severe thunderstorm watch down there has just been canceled just moments ago. However, at least for the time being, it does continue in southwestern Missouri through 10 this morning and a tornado watch into Benton County through noon. We also have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings down there we're keeping an eye on. We'll take another look at these storms and some of those storm reports when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's been a long night here in the Skywatch Storm Center as we've been keeping an eye on thunderstorms. I want to take you back real quick. We're going to go back as this line developed and rolled through this morning. Now, the radar is only going back to about 2 a.m., but Just look at these thunderstorms explode across the area. Several severe thunderstorm warnings. The main line is now to our east. The severe thunderstorm watch for northeast Oklahoma has been canceled. It is still ongoing, at least for now, for southwest Missouri through 10 a.m., but we expect that to probably be canceled before too much longer. Do have a severe thunderstorm warning in Benton County and a tornado watch that does continue until noon down there. Now, this warning does not include Berry County, but this storm is moving off to the north and east and could clip the southeastern corner of Berry County later this morning, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then, of course, these storms ahead of the cold front turning tornadic around the Branson area and around Harrison, Arkansas as well, hence that tornado watch that's in effect out there. So again, we are fairly well done with our severe threat here. Still watching some thunderstorm activity in eastern Berry County, and we'll keep an eye on this severe thunderstorm down here in Benton County, again, as it could clip the southeastern corners of Berry County this morning. So we've talked about this. We have several forecasting offices that cover our area, and so that's why that warning tapers off right at the state line. So northwest Arkansas and northeast Oklahoma is covered from Tulsa. Southwest Missouri and Bourbon, Crawford, and Cherokee counties in Kansas are covered by Springfield. And then the rest of southeast Kansas is covered by Wichita. So it'll be up to Springfield if that warning from Benton County carries into Berry County or not. And of course, we will keep you updated as the morning progresses. So we're not fully done with the threat yet for our extreme southeastern corners of the area, but we're fairly well done for the majority of the viewing area. Let's take a look at those storm reports that we saw across the area so far. We've had several hail reports. These blue dots all represent hail reports. We've even had some wind reports. This green one just west of Fort Scott, wind gust of near 80. We had 3 different wind reports around Chanute. One of them that's hidden behind the others is green. That was for a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust as well. Let's take a look outside. 7th and range line. We're starting to calm down a bit. Still a bit breezy. 41, partly cloudy. Feels like 32. That northwest breeze at 17, but the winds will continue to calm as this cold front sweeps on through. Still sitting at 60 in Cassville, 57 Bentonville, 56 Monette. Everybody else pretty much into the lower 40s and upper 30s, so much colder. In fact, on the order of 30 to 35 degrees colder than where we were this time yesterday. As we get our day started, I have those cloudy skies, calmer winds, calmer weather, but cold, 41 by 11 this morning. Looking at highs today, nowhere near the 80-degree mark. We're talking lower to mid-50s across the area, but we'll see plentiful sunshine, so it'll look pretty pleasant out there, and everybody knows how nice it smells after a good rain. A cold one tonight, though, 36 for our overnight low, and we'll have some increasing cloud cover across the area. The good news is we will return to spring-like weather in the next couple of days. So tomorrow's still a little bit chilly, 58. 64 on Friday, 70s through the weekend. Watching thunderstorm chances on Sunday. Now, they still look to hold off until later in the day, so don't cancel your Easter plans, but just have a backup plan ready to go just in case, and keep the Skywatch weather app handy. Check this out, though. As we kick off the next week, we're back into the mid to upper 70s and some thunderstorm chances returning toward the end of next week. Let's check your forecast. We'll continue to monitor that storm in Benton County and bring you any updates, and we'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, scientists say phototherapy or exposure to bright light could help lessen the symptoms of dementia. Researchers examined a dozen clinical trials. They found while phototherapy improved cognitive functions in dementia patients, it did not lessen symptoms of sleep quality or depression. A study published in Radiology reveals ultrasound is an effective method to diagnose breast lumps and pain among patients who report specific complaints. A Dutch study of 2,000 women found 90% received an accurate diagnosis of their issues with just an ultrasound. An early intervention can help prevent rupture and even death in patients with aortic aneurysms. Researchers in India found the size of an aneurysm affects blood flow, allowing doctors to explore early treatment options, including surgical repair or stent grafting to prevent rupture. And 1 in 10 people worldwide suffers from migraines. It can affect your health, your work, and your relationships. Michael George introduces us to a new migraine treatment that some patients say changed their lives.
felt like having to deal with it.
John Adelane has had debilitating migraines for more than 20 years.
I have to lock myself in a room, turn out all lights and totally black out, and then, if it gets terribly bad, then I end up, throwing up.
Over 40 million Americans suffer from migraines, and with so many different triggers, they can be difficult to treat. But a new clinical trial by Yeshiva University shows promising results with an unconventional treatment.
Take a deep breath and close our eyes.
It's called mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. Associate Professor of Psychology Dr. Elizabeth Seng conducted the study, and she says meditation is one part of mindfulness.
Some of my favorite ways to use mindfulness are just out walking in my day, what's going on in the present moment without worrying about what I'm going to do that night. The next time you breathe in.
After 6 months of therapist-guided mindfulness sessions, patients reported fewer and less intense migraines.
Let it go and feel your shoulders relax. We imagine that anything that helps people manage their stress and keep it at a consistently low level will probably help reduce migraine symptoms.
Adelane also participated in the study. He says whenever he feels a migraine coming on, he goes to a quiet place and tries one of the exercises.
There are times where even just a couple of minutes and those symptoms have disappeared.
Researchers say mindfulness therapy alone isn't a cure, but with medication and other treatments, it can provide some relief to millions who badly need it. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
If you're interested in trying mindfulness treatments, consult a health psychologist for more information. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And here at home, things beginning to calm down. So let's take a look at our current conditions. Behind this front, it's a lot colder. 42 in Joplin, 34 is what it feels like. Northwest breeze at 16. That wind will continue to calm down as we go through the morning hours. Behind the front, which as you can see, it's now almost all the way through our area. We've got upper 30s, lower to mid 40s, and it will be quite cold today and into tonight. We're upwards of 30, 35 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. It's hard to believe yesterday afternoon we actually had a heat index, and this morning we have a wind chill. What a difference 12 hours can make. And it's like they say, if you don't like the weather in the 4 states, just wait 5 minutes. It'll change for you. We've got mostly cloudy skies as the day gets started, up to about 41 by 11 a.m. Clouds begin to clear later today. We'll have mostly clear skies, but chilly, low to mid 50s for highs. And as we head into tonight, as I mentioned, it's going to be cold. We'll drop back through the 40s as we head through 10 o'clock. A few extra clouds out there, down to 36 for our low. However, this cool down is brief. We're up to 58 tomorrow, so still a little chilly. 64 Friday, 70s Saturday and Sunday. Maybe some thunderstorms Easter. They look to be later in the day, but we'll keep an eye on them and keep the Skywatch weather app handy in case you need to change your Easter plans. And we kick off the next week in the 70s, mid-upper 70s with some additional storm chances to close out next week for the area. So we will warm back up, which is good news. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, buyers beware as hackers at one convenience store in Carl Junction, Missouri target credit cards.
Severe threat for the area, all but done. Still dealing with a couple of watches out there and some stronger storms now in southern Berry County. We'll take a closer look at these storms and what comes up next, coming up.
And a Jasper County man pleads guilty to second-degree murder after originally charged with domestic assault.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we just got this into us here that from the Chanute Police Department. They're asking the citizens of Chanute to stay home and off the streets. They have multiple power lines down across the town and extensive damage in multiple areas of the city. Now, you may recall we did have that storm report of a wind gust pushing 70 miles an hour. So we'll keep an eye on this and we'll bring you the latest on that. But again, Chanute Police Department asking folks to stay home, stay off the streets, lots of power lines down, and they are reporting extensive damage in multiple areas of the city. So we'll probably get a crew up there and take a look at what's going on and bring you the latest as we get it. In terms of those severe storms, this is what we're still looking at. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch for southwest Missouri until 10 a.m. But again, really expecting that to drop off here soon. And we have that tornado watch for Benton County until noon, but that should also be gone before too much longer as well. We have that stronger storm now entering southeastern Berry County, and in Arkansas, it is severe warned at this point, and you can see those brighter pink colors. Those are, that's some small hail out there for sure, possibly even upwards of quarter-size hail, so we'll keep an eye on that. They're dealing with the tornado warnings out east across south central Missouri, now just east of Branson, and now moving just northeast of Harrison, Arkansas. Those are storms that formed ahead of the front. You can clearly see where that front is along the line, and those storms developing ahead of the front certainly have the possibility of becoming severe. Let's take a look at the storm reports, and we're going to go back into Chanute now and see if there's been any changes to the storm reports so far. So you can see there were a cluster of wind reports in Chanute. This one says getting reports of considerable tree damage across Chanute, along with roof damage to numerous buildings. This one, an apartment complex lost its garages due to strong winds. And then the green one is an actual recorded wind speed of 70 miles an hour. So again, we're getting a crew on their way to Chanute, and Chanute PD asking folks to stay home, stay off the streets with some extensive damage across parts of the city of Chanute. These blue dots represent hail, and then we had that 80-mile-an-hour wind gust just to the west of Fort Scott. Let's take a quick look at our currents. We're sitting much colder in Joplin, 42, feeling like 34, northwest breeze at 16. The wind will continue to calm as the cold front gets further away. So with a couple of exceptions out here where it's not fully passed through, the rest of us upper 30s, lower 40s, putting us upwards of 30, 35 degrees colder now than where we were 24 hours ago. Here's what we've got. Mostly cloudy skies to start our day, up to 41 by 11. As we head into the afternoon, a much chillier day, highs lower to mid 50s, but clear skies, then calmer winds with plentiful sunshine out there. Tonight, cold, dropping back to 36, a few extra clouds, and we will warm up heading in toward the end of the week and into the weekend. The 70s return by this weekend, and we'll hold on to the mid to upper 70s as we head into next week. So again, we'll continue to monitor the situation in Chanute and bring you the latest as it becomes available. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Strong winds across the 4 states increase fire danger and impact people who drive high-profile vehicles. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with a local truck driver and a fire chief about the dangers of wind gust.
Being a sail on a sailboat, I mean, it's worse being a box because we're so tall. You know, loads, at least you have a little bit of weight behind you. Where empty, you get kicked around a little more.
Truck driver Craig Branscombe says strong winds force high-profile drivers to slow down. It can also be dangerous for other drivers on the road.
It's bad enough driving beside a truck, but on a windy day, don't use us as a shield from the wind.
For semi-drivers, the high wind danger isn't just about their vehicle height. It can also be more dangerous if there's a fire burning near to the road.
If the smoke and everything is crossing the highway and everything, you're actually advised to shut it down and just wait until the smoke clears, because you may not be able to see through the smoke. It's a visibility issue.
Firemen may assist truck drivers in case of turnovers, but also with fires that can rapidly spread from wind gusts. Pittsburgh's fire chief says residents generally obey the city ordinances during high winds.
15 miles an hour, we say, no burning. Like today, we're 20, 25 miles an hour with gusts, then that's absolutely a no to any kind of outside burning.
If you want to burn but are unsure about the weather,
here in town, we would like for you to call the fire department, have us come out and check. We'll write you a burn permit and basically give you a time frame to where it's okay to get that thing burned down, and that way you're not being hassled by somebody driving by.
In Pittsburgh, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
Chief Cerny says instead of burning leaves or limbs, Pittsburgh residents can take them to the city's compost site. Well, a man originally accused of domestic assault enters a guilty plea on murder charges. Casey Malone pled guilty to a second-degree murder charge. He was originally charged with domestic assault, but the victim died a few days after the incident. 2021, 63-year-old Ann McCrary was found with head and face injuries and a broken arm. She died a few days later. Malone will be sentenced next week. A man accused of assaulting a Joplin police officer takes a plea deal. Michael Yarga of Joplin pled guilty to charges of third-degree assault and resisting arrest. Authorities say Yarga assaulted an officer during a chase in March of last year, and another officer shot Yarga. Yarga gets a suspended sentence and will be on probation for 5 years. Well, if you recently purchased gas at a Carl Junction, Missouri convenience store, your card might have been hacked. On March 22nd, a local resident fueled her car at a convenience store in CJ using a credit card. Later in the day, she was alerted by her bank that her card had been used to purchase fuel in another state. It was found that several other bank cards had also been compromised on the same day. Police department is advising people to take care when using a card at a fuel pump. They say monitor your accounts, and if you notice a suspicious transaction, notify your financial institution or card issuer immediately. They say then contact your local law enforcement agency. Authorities say the pumps at the area locations have been checked and secured, and employees have been instructed in what to look for when inspecting equipment. McDonald County Schools host a life simulation event for 7th and 8th graders. Officials say the event is designed to provide students with a realistic glimpse of adulthood and help them understand the importance of making responsible decisions. Students experience what it's like to live on a limited budget, make tough decisions, and face the consequences of their actions.
Life experience. I hope that they can see what their future would hold given the two different scenarios and know that if they make the better choices at the time, they may end up with a better adult life.
At the end of the event, students compared their two lives and saw the differences their choices can make for them. Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Johnson & Johnson offers $9 billion to settle talcum powder lawsuits.
And we're still continuing to track strong, even some severe thunderstorms in the area. We'll take a look at that and bring you the latest on storm reports when we come back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, some employees at General Motors are breathing a sigh of relief this morning after about 5,000 white-collar workers took buyout offers. The automaker says that helps it save about $1 billion per year in cost and avert layoffs at this time. The move comes as General Motors tries to bring down costs and make the transition to electric vehicles. Johnson & Johnson is offering nearly $9 billion to settle talcum powder lawsuits. The health and consumer goods company says the proposal is being backed by more than 60,000 parties that have filed suits claiming the talc used in its products was contaminated with asbestos and gave them illness, including cancer. J&J says the settlement, which still needs approval by a bankruptcy court, does not constitute an admission of wrongdoing. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for southeastern Berry County. And that severe thunderstorm, as you can see, very rapidly racing off to the northeast, east-northeast at about 60 miles an hour. Had some quarter-size hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but it will be out of Berry County here before too much longer. In fact, if we take a larger look at the radar, you'll see that other than the severe thunderstorm watch, which hasn't been canceled yet, but probably will be for southwest Missouri, and that tornado watch in Benton County, the majority of the severe weather now out of our area. But we're getting some reports of some extensive damage in the city of Chanute. The Chanute PD asking folks to stay home, stay off the roads, with numerous power lines down and, again, some extensive roof damage throughout the entire city, and we have a crew on the way. We'll bring you more information as it becomes available. We'll have more on your forecast here in just a few more minutes, but it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, and we need a little break from everything this morning, so we'll do that next. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, actor and comedian Cedric the Entertainer will be here in studio to talk about his hit comedy, The Neighborhood, celebrating its 100th episode. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays across the area. We've got Walker Shanholzer in McCune celebrating birthday number 1. A very happy birthday to you, Walker. What a very cute picture.
All right, and Miss Evelyn Smith is celebrating birthday number 9 this year. Evelyn is in Columbus.
And Ariona Briner celebrating birthday number 12 in Pittsburgh. A very happy birthday to you, Ariona.
In Girard, Jaden Hawkins turning 18 years old.
Blake Phillips celebrating number 18 as well, just to the east over in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday, Blake.
And in Oswego, Anna Grace Dean turning 19 years old.
And we've also got Alec Cleveland celebrating birthday number 19. It says here, one of the most thoughtful, polite, and caring individuals you'll ever meet. Love, Papa and Yaya. Happy birthday, Alec.
Aw. And out in Chanute, Mike Myers is celebrating birthday number 68.
And last but certainly not least, everybody's favorite administrative assistant here at KOAM, Shelly Saporito, celebrating a birthday. She listens to all the stories I have to tell and provides me with ibuprofen and Tylenol when the day gets a little stressful. So, Shelly, thanks for keeping me alive here at KOAM, and happy birthday to you.
Many of us refer to Miss Shelley as our second mom.
She certainly is. She absolutely is. Well, we enjoy celebrating these birthdays with you every morning. Tanya, how can people continue to celebrate with us?
All they have to do is email us their pictures and all the details. Don't forget their name for sure. At birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, of course, while you're on our website, especially today, checking out the latest on the storms across the area, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get great deals from local businesses, and you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com, sign up for that birthday club today. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. We've still got that severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Berry County, but as you can see, that storm is on its way well out of Berry County. And we still have that severe thunderstorm watch for southwest Missouri through 10 a.m., but again, I believe that's probably going to be canceled here before too much longer. And we have that tornado watch in Benton County through noon, but again, I think for at least Benton County, we're going to start to see that drop off. Still dealing with some nasty storms. Take a look at this supercell. This started over by Harrison. Still a tornado warning on that through 7 this morning. They had a tornado warning with this cell that's weakened just east of Branson this morning as well. Now we turn our attention to what the storms left behind when they rolled through here. We've got a lot we need to relay to you. This is all coming from Chanute. Chanute seems to have been hit exceptionally hard by last night's storms. Chanute schools are closed for today due to the damage that was received in the city overnight. So again, Chanute schools, USD 413, are closed for today, and that also includes all related activities and services, including athletics, canceled for today as well due to damage in the city. What we want to relay to you is from the Chanute Police Department. Chanute Police Department says at this time we are asking the citizens of Chanute to please stay home and off the streets. We have multiple power lines down across the town and extensive damage in multiple areas of the city. What you're looking at are the wind damage reports from Chanute. The first one says that there was a report from the 911 call center that an apartment complex lost its garages due to strong winds. That was passed on from Allen County Dispatch. Another one says it's getting reports from the public of considerable tree damage across Chanute, along with roof damage to numerous buildings. And then that green icon is simply an official report of wind gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour with these storms as they rolled through. So again, Chanute schools closed for today. All activities canceled. Chanute PD asking folks to stay inside. Do not go out due to extensive damage in the city. And again, we do have a crew on the way to Chanute, and we'll bring you more information as it becomes available. As for right now, we're done with the severe weather. It's all but gone now. We're at 42 in Joplin, feels like 34. Northwest breeze at 16 under mostly cloudy skies. You can see where the front has exited. We are now cooling down across the area. Temperatures upper 30s. Lower to mid 40s across the region, putting us upwards of 30, 35 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. Going through the morning, mostly cloudy skies, lower 40s by late morning. Much colder today, highs in the low to mid 50s, but we'll have clearing skies as we head into the afternoon. And we'll see a few more clouds as we head into the overnight hours, down to 44 by 10, overnight low of 36. Quick look ahead, I want to show you that there is warm weather on the way, which is great news. Little cool tomorrow, 58, 64 Friday, maybe some storms Easter. Don't cancel your plans, just have a backup ready just in case. This is the start of the 70s, and as we head into next week, mid to upper 70s, and then maybe some storm chances by the end of next week. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. March 22nd, a local resident fueled her car at a convenience store in CJ using a credit card. Later in the day, she was alerted by her bank that her card had been used to purchase fuel in another state. It was found that several other bank cards had also been compromised on the same day. The police department is advising people to take care when using a card at a fuel pump. McDonald County Schools host a life simulation event for 7th and 8th graders. Officials say the event is designed to provide students with a realistic glimpse of adulthood and help them understand the importance of making responsible decisions. Students experienced what it's like to live on a limited budget, make tough decisions, and face the consequences of their actions. Crawford County has a new group of young leaders. More than 450 6th grade students in the county graduated from the Pittsburgh Area Chamber Foundation's Youth Leadership Program. That program teaches kids to lead through role model interaction and by developing skills such as teamwork, communication, and conflict resolution. Area dancers put on a show at Pitt State. The university held a practice for its 3rd annual dance symposium and showcase. It wasn't about being the most skilled, it was about showing how dance can bring a community together. It fits into this year's theme, community, collaboration, and courage. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, as we go through today, we'll have clearing skies, calmer winds, calmer weather. Temperatures colder though, low to mid 50s. We head into tonight. We're looking at a much colder night. We're down to 44 by 10, increasing clouds, low of 36. As we head through the week, we're still kind of chilly tomorrow, up to 64 though on Friday, 70s this weekend. Watching thunderstorms on Easter. Don't cancel your plans just yet. And we'll be in the mid to upper 70s as we head through next week. Well, you do want to take a moment to kind of recap. So the storms, we're pretty well done with them, and the severe thunderstorm watch for Jasper, Barton, Dade, and Cedar counties is being canceled, but is continuing for Newton, McDonald, Lawrence, and Berry counties. Chanute has suffered some extensive damage from last night's storms. Chanute PD urging people to stay home. Chanute schools are closed. As mentioned, we do have a crew on the way, and we'll have more on that as it becomes available.
A lot of people are asking if it was a tornado. I'm seeing a lot of comments of people saying it sounded like a tornado, but that doesn't seem to be the case yet.
Right now, the official report is 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but of course a weather service team will come out and make an assessment as to what actually happened in Chanute, because it does make sense for straight line winds because Chanute PD is reporting extensive damage throughout the city. With mostly roof damage. An apartment lost its garages, so it does sound like straight line winds, but weather service team, they'll come out and they'll make that official assessment here probably later today.
All right, and again, there's no school in Chanute for today.
That is correct. We'll have more on this as we head into our KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 at 7 a.m. here in just a couple of minutes. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. Very busy morning. Much calmer one tomorrow. We'll see you here at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.